I would like to announce that I am just appointing Maulana Afthab Cassim as a wakil. In my absence, he can make you breathe.
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا ونبينا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا محمد وأصحابه وبارك وسلم صلاة وسلاما عليك يا سيدي يا سندي يا حبيبي يا طبيبي يا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا رحمة للعالمين. نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين. صدق الله مولانا العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الأمين المكين الكريم ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. غوث اعظم بمنے بے سروں ساما مدد قبلہ دی مدد کعبہ ایما مدد قادریم نعرائے یا غوث آدم می زنم تمز شیخ احمد رضا خان قطب عالم می زنم سیدی یا مرشدی شاہ مصطفیٰ خان زندہ باد مسلک سرکار اعلیٰ اعلی حضرت زندہ باد یا الہی مسلک احمد رضا خان زندہ باد حفظ ناموس رسالت کا جو ذمہ دار ہے سیدی یا مرشدی شاہ مصطفیٰ خان زندہ باد حامل فیض رضا مصطفیٰ امداد کن صلی اللہ علی النبی الامی و آلہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم صلاۃ و سلاما علیک یا سیدی یا سندی یا حبیبی یا طبیبی یا رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم وعلی آلک و اصحابک یا رحمت للعالمین. All praise is due to Almighty Allah. Durood and salams upon the most perfect, exalted and glorified of Allah's creation, Sayyiduna wa Maulana Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Peace, blessings and salutations upon the Anbiya Ikram, Ahl Bayt Athar, Sahaba Ikram, Khulafa Rashidin, Tabain, Tabain, Aimma Mujtahideen, Awliya Kamilin, and all those who will follow the path until the last day. We thank Almighty Allah through His infinite mercy and the wasila of Rasul Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam for blessing us with the opportunity to congregate and to remember him and his beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and to pay tribute to the pious and the pious amongst the pious, Huzur Sayyidina Shaykh Mahyuddin Abdul-Qadir Jilani al-Baghdadi radiallahu anhu, whose Garvi Sharif is tonight. Alhamdulillah, summa alhamdulillah. As Maulana Ahmad Sabir mentioned, that we started quite late because of the program at the masjid, and we had to read Salatul Isha and then leave from there. But alhamdulillah, two may feels better than one. And we continue to take the blessings of the beloveds of Almighty Allah. The more we get the opportunity to remember the pious servants, the more the mercy of Allah will descend upon us. Over the last 10 nights, for those that have been here, and those that were here and are not here tonight, for them it must be said that they have been understanding, and those that of you that have been listening online, you have been understanding that the discussion over the last 10 nights has been regarding the Ruhani Maqam of Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiyallahu anh. I've been trying to explain rather than the general discussions that we have about Gawth Pak and his karamat, etc., which we did mention over these last 10 nights in passing. But more importantly, I tried to explain the Ruhani position of Sarkar-e Gawth Azam Jilani radiyallahu ta'ala an, and his maqam and his qurb in the court of Almighty Allah. How close and how near he is in the court of Almighty Allah, and how he has received this special position in the maqam taqreeb, in the closeness of the court of Almighty Allah. And we explained that how all the awliya Allah, all the beloveds of Almighty Allah, all of them have received the maqam that they have received because of Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiyallahu an. I've been reciting some couplets of Ala Hazrat Adimul Barkat radiyallahu ta'ala an over these nights, and I've been trying to connect them to the beautiful Qasida Gawthiyah of Sarkar-e Gawth Azam Jilani al-Baghdadi radiyallahu ta'ala an, so that we may get a better understanding of the Ruhani Maqam of Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiyallahu ta'ala an. Now, I said to you, we've been discussing one share in particular, where we talked about Ala Hazrat Adimul Barkat radiyallahu anh saying, Al-Aman kah rahe hai Gawth wa tikha tera, Al-Aman kah rahe hai Gawth wa tikha tera, mar ke bhi chain se sota nahi mara tera. That Sarkar-e Gawth Pak's darbar is that darbar, and the maqam and the fazilat that Allah has given him is so powerful that if anybody crosses the path of Sarkar-e Gawth Pak, radiallahu ta'ala an, then that person becomes destroyed here and he becomes destroyed in the hereafter also. Why? Because Gawth Azam Jilani radiallahu an has been given this grandeur and this excellence from the court of Almighty Allah and by the sadaqah of the beloved Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. So it is very important to understand that if we want to attain the fuyuz, if we want to attain the barakat of Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiallahu ta'ala an, then it is very, very, very important. It is incumbent upon us that we understand this is not just any ordinary personality we are talking about. We are talking about somebody who has such a great maqam in the court of Almighty Allah that Allah directs and guides his excellence and directs and guides his excelling in the closeness of Almighty Allah. And that is why we have said that Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiallahu anhu said, and I've been discussing this over the last few nights, that Sarkar-e Gawth Azam Jilani al-Baghdadi radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, Anal Baziyu Ashhab, Anal Badiyul Ashhab, Kullu Shaykhin, Anal Baziyul Ashhab, Kullu Shaykhin, Wa man dha fi rijali utiya misali. Sarkar-e Gawth Pak is saying that I am like that huge greyish white falcon, the peregrine falcon, some say, that is so powerful and is so strong that that grey white falcon, the power and the speed and the agility that it has amongst all the other birds, I have that in the court of all the awliya Allah. In the kingdom of all the awliya, that is the excellence that has been bestowed upon me. And that is why Sayyidi Ala Hadrat Adimul Barkat radiyallahu anhu says that Al-Aman kah raha hai, Ghaus wo tikha tera, mar ke bhi chain se sota nahi, mara tera. That when the, when a falcon comes down for its prey, what speed does the falcon swoop with? And not just the ordinary falcon, the most powerful amongst it. What speed it comes down with, and it swoops with such speed, that grey falcon, that whitish grey falcon or the white falcon. But it does that because of the power that Allah has given it in its wings, that it is able to swoop down and it is able to grab that prey so fast. Now Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiallahu anhu is saying that the status that I have amongst the awliya is like how that status the bird has amongst that falcon, great white falcon has amongst all the other birds. So what Gawth Pak is telling you? He's telling you, yes, understand, and I said this yesterday. He's telling you, understand that this great grey white falcon can go at great speeds and great heights, but it comes down as fast as well. Once it marks its prey, the prey can't get away. So Sarkar-e Gawth Pak is telling you that anybody who tries to cross me in the kingdom of vilayat, in other words, amongst the awliya Allah, if anybody tries to cross me, meaning the ordinary people, he will never go past me in any way. Why? Because Allah has given me this taqat, Allah has given me this power. And if anybody tries to cross anybody that is in my kingdom, not only me, Gawth Pak is talking about himself, but in reality he is referring to all the awliya Allah. That is why he's telling the Afthab, he's telling the Qutubs, the Afthab, Anal Baziyu Ashhab, Kulli Shaykhin wa man dha fi rijali utiya misali, that I am like the great falcon amongst all of you. So don't worry, even if somebody tries to do anything in front of you, Al-Qaadiri will come to your assistance. Al-Qaadiri doesn't only assist the ordinary people. Sarkar-e Gawth Pak doesn't only assist the ordinary people, Sarkar-e Gawth Pak comes to the assistance of the awliya Allah also. Because when the awliya Allah request for certain things in the court of Allah, when they ask for certain things in the court of Allah, and the levels in which they are, it is accepted but not at that level which they want, then they use the means of Sarkar-e Gawth Azam Jilani radiallahu anhu to get that. So that is why it has been mentioned regarding Sarkar-e Gawth Pak about this. Now Gawth Pak getting this maqam, Gawth Pak getting this fazilat, where he is regarded as the grey white falcon amongst all the awliya Allah, like how the falcon is recognized amongst the birds, and Gawth Pak radiallahu anhu has this maqam and this fazilat. What does it mean? You have to look at another share of Qasida Gawthiyah Sharif. To understand this, you need to look at another share of the Qasida Gawthiyah Sharif, where Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiallahu anhu says, Kasani khilatam bi tarazi azmin. Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiallahu anhu says, Kasani khilatam bi tarazi azmin wa tawajjani bi tijani al-kamali. Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiallahu anhu saying that in the embellished robes of determination, Allah garbed me. In the embellished, I talked about this a little bit yesterday. In the embellished robes of determination, Almighty Allah garbed me, and when the crown of perfection, Allah Almighty crowned me. What does that mean? It means that this is not a physical, I said to you yesterday, it's not a physical jubbah. It's not a physical khilat that we're talking about. It's not a physical robe that we are talking about. We are talking about a spiritual robe that Allah has given to Sarkar-e Gawth Pak through the Mubarak hands of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, by which Sarkar-e Gawth Pak is saying that Kasani khilatam bi tarazi azmin wa tawajjani bi tijanil kamali, that in those embellished robes of determination, Almighty Allah robed me, He garbed me, and with the crowns of perfection He crowned me. And I said to you yesterday what Ala Hadrat says about this robe. Ala Hadrat Adimul Barakat says, usko so fard sarapa ba faraghat aur hai. Ala Hadrat is saying, usko so fard sarapa ba faraghat aur hai, tang hokar jo tarne ko hai nima tera. In other words, that robe is such, that spiritual robe that Allah has bestowed upon you is such, it is so vast. It is so vast, such a rohani robe, that all the awliya Allah can get into that robe and it will still be loose. But for Abdul Qadir it's a perfect fit. In other words, it becomes tight for him. What are you talking about? Not talking about a real robe yet. We're talking about the levels of spirituality, where Sarkar-e Gawth Pak is going through one level after the other. And when he enters one level, that level fits him, but before he knows it, he's already needing the next level. So he goes into that, and the awliya come into this, but when they come in it, there's still enough space for everybody else. Why? Because of the power that Allah has given Sarkar-e Gawth Pak. As I told you, these 10 nights, those of you that have been coming every night, I told you that the discussions that I'm having here is not the general discussion that we have at the masjid. For the general public, the discussion is one of understanding the maqam and ruhaniyat of Sarkar-e Gawth Pak, radiyallahu ta'ala an, how he has passed, because he's saying, Al-Bazi ashab. He's saying that all the power and the strength that Allah has given me is like I'm that Baz Ashab. I'm like that huge grey white falcon amongst all the other birds. In other words, I'm given that level of perfection that nobody can cross the way of Abdul Qadir Jilani radiallahu an. And Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiallahu an, after that what does he say? As I said, we'll never finish discussing the Qasida Gawthiyya and Gawthiyya in these 11 days. I was giving the shares of Ala Hadrat and trying to give Qasida Gawthiyya. So today I'm running through a few shares very fast to you, so we can get some more barakat of it. What does Gawth Pak says? He says, وَاعْتِلَانِي عَلَى سِرٍ قَدِيمٍ وَاعْتِلَانِي عَلَى سِرٍ قَدِيمٍ وَقَلَّدَنِي وَأَعْطَانِي سُعَالِي. Sarkar-e Gawth Pak says, and he revealed upon me a special eternal secret. Allah revealed upon me through the wasta of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam a special eternal secret, and he conferred upon me an honorable rank, and my requests he granted me. Allahu Akbar. Now, what does it mean? The scholars and the Sufyan Ikram has said, by saying this, Sarkar-e Gawth Azam radiallahu anh, by saying that Allah revealed upon him, meaning ilham. You know, what comes from Allah to a Nabi is wahi, and what comes from Allah to a wali is ilham. What is inspired upon the heart of the wali is ilham. And wahi ilahi is unique for the Anbiya Ikram, alayhi salatu wasalam, right? So he says that what Gawth Pak is saying, he's saying, وَاعْتِلَانِي عَلَى سِرٍ قَدِيمٍ وَقَلَّدَنِي وَأَعْطَانِي سُعَالِي. That's Allah Almighty revealed upon me a special eternal secret, and He conferred upon me an honorable rank, and my requests He granted for me. In other words, whatever I asked from Almighty Allah, Abdul Qadir got it. Whatever he requested from the court of Almighty Allah, Allah Ta'ala gave it to him. So the Sufyan Ikram are saying that by Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiallahu anh saying this, is that Gawth Azam radiallahu anh is saying that Allah revealed upon him this secret, this eternal secret from the divine treasures of Almighty Allah. Revealed the secret upon him, and this secret is such that when it was revealed upon him, Allah granted him this very powerful rank, very powerful maqam and awliya. Now, when we're discussing this, it must be mentioned that one of the things is that through the blessing of Almighty Allah, by the hukum of Almighty Allah, through the blessing of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah revealed this secret upon Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiallahu anh. And you must understand, what are these? What is the secret that he's talking about? This hidden, concealed, eternal secret. What is he talking about? He says, Sarkar-e Gawth Pak is saying, وَاعْتَلَانِي عَلَى سِرٍ قَدِيمٍ, and he revealed upon me a special eternal secret. One secret with many secrets. One secret with many secrets. I'm just starting this discussion. If you're going to sit tonight for a little while, I'm running through it very fast. One secret with many secrets. So the great Sufyan Ikram mentioned that one of the meanings of this is that through the sadaqah of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah revealed upon in the form of ilham Sarkari Gawth Pak radiallahu anh, the special secrets and the hidden codes of the Holy Quran. The special secrets and the hidden codes of the Holy Quran, which you and I, even if we recite, we cannot understand this. Why? He got this through the wasta and the sadaqah of Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, and through the blessings of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Through the blessing of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Hazrat Gawth Pak radiallahu anh has been blessed with that level of ilm ghaib that nobody amongst the awliya got that level of ilm ghaib. And if all the awliya's ilm ghaib which they got by the hukum of Allah through the sadaqah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is put together, it can't be equal to that secret that Allah gave Sarkar Gawth Pak. Wa atlani ala sirrin qadiman. It can't be equal to that secret which Allah bestowed upon Sarkar Gawth Pak. Look, all of the awliya Allah give them the certain knowledge. Some of them have special knowledge of unseen. Okay? But nobody has ghaib like Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. Okay? Allah has bestowed upon him, he distributes that knowledge of the unseen by the izn of Almighty Allah. But that which Gawth Pak got amongst the awliya, all of them what they got together, can't be like that one secret special one which Allah gave to Sarkar Gawth Pak, which he is talking about, where he's saying that وَأَتْلَانِي عَلَى سِرٍ قَدِيمٍ وَقَلَّدَنِي وَأَعْتَانِي سُؤَالِي. Now regarding this further, it is stated that this is why Huzur Gawth Pak radiallahu anh was always, was and is always aware of the condition of those who are connected to him. He is always aware. See, any Kamil Sheikh, I'm not talking about this fly-by-night fellas, okay, that come here and act like sheikhs. We are talking about the real mashayikh, the real awliya, the true peers. It is regarding them that it is stated, Sarkar Mufti Azam Hind radiallahu anh used to say, पीर नहीं जो हम वक्त अपने मुरीदों को अपने नजर में ना रखे. A pure and a kamil peer is not that peer if he cannot keep his murids in his sight at all the time. You know what it means? It means even though if you as the sheikh can't do it, your murshid who is standing behind you must be able to do it for you. You must have the pushed panahi of your murshid. So Sarkar Gawth Pak radiallahu ta'ala an, Sarkar Gawth Pak radiallahu an, that beloved of Sarkar Gawth Azam, Sarkar of beloved of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, has been blessed with this knowledge from the court of Almighty Allah by the sadaqah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he is announcing this knowledge. And I told you in the entire Qasida Gawthiyah, he is announcing his maqam and his fazilat. He is announcing his maqam and his fazilat. And why is he doing that? Because this was ilham upon him. It is being inspired upon him that this should happen. That this should happen. It is being inspired upon him that you should say this. Like I said to you, like he said, I said in the masjid, when Gawth Pak said, قَدَمِي هَذِهِ عَلَى رَقَبَةِ كُلِّ وَلِيِّ اللَّهِ. This foot of mine is on the shoulders of all the awliya. Then he didn't say this out of his own will. He said this because it was inspired from Almighty Allah. That, oh Abdul Qadir, you say this now. Now, you know, when we tell you that Sarkar Gawth Pak radiallahu ta'ala an, and the taqat that Allah Almighty has given him, where he is aware of conditions. One simple example. I'm not going to go too long tonight. One simple example, very simple example. Sarkar Gawth Azam Jilani, subhanallah. Sarkar Gawth Pak radiallahu anh is in his madrasa in Baghdad Sharif. In his madrasa Jamia Nizamiya in Baghdad Sharif. Sarkar Gawth Pak is in the madrasa. He is teaching his students. How we teach and what Gawth Pak thought was something else. The students sat in the class and he became something. He came and sat in the class. You know, once Gawth Pak radiallahu anh, Allahu Akbar. Gawth Pak radiallahu anh was seated somewhere in a mahfil, and people were seated in that mahfil as well. And one of the murids of Sarkar Gawth Pak radiallahu anh, he started to think in his heart that, you know, every day the mahfil of Gawth Pak, we see some spiritual thing happening, some very powerful, electrifying thing happening. But you know, today I haven't seen anything. He's still thinking in his heart. Sarkar Gawth Pak radiallahu anh gets up and he walks from one end of the majlis to the other end of the majlis. There were 1100 people sitting there. And as he walked, he took his both fingers like this this, his index fingers, and he started walking through the mahfil. When he went to the other end, he looked at that person and he said, is this not enough that these 1100 now on the maqam vilayat? It's not enough. Ye maqam vilayat pe faiz ho gaye. It's not enough. Allahu Akbar. This is Sarkar Gawth Pak radiallahu anhu. So he's sitting in that madrasa, Allahu Akbar. He's sitting in the madrasa. You know, the awliya Allah, even if a student can't understand, किताबों से पी नहीं पाता तो उसको पिलाया जाता है. They give him, they feed that knowledge to him. That's why the poet has said that there are some who studied through the books, and those who the books were taught through them by the sight of the awliya Allah. Okay? तूने पी किताबों से, मैंने पी निगाहों से, फर्क इतना है जाहिद तेरे मेरे पीने में. This is the difference. It doesn't mean that you don't study. You study, but the awliya Allah's nazar karam, the sight of a wali, nigah wali mein wo taasir dekhi, badalte hazaron ki taqdeer dekhi. The sight that a wali got, that thousands of destinies he can change in one moment. So Gawth Pak is teaching in his madrasa. Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani radiallahu anh is teaching in his madrasa, and the students are sitting in the madrasa. Now we're talking about what, Lani? We're talking about that knowledge that Sarkar Gawth Pak radiallahu anh is talking about, where he's telling us that Allah has bestowed me up with that knowledge, what lani ala sirrin qadimin wa qalladani wa atani su'ali, that whatever I ask him, he gives me, and that knowledge that I have, that Allah has revealed upon me, that great secret, through the barakat of that secret, Allah gave Sarkar Gawth Pak so much of ilm that he's aware of the condition of all. He's aware of the condition of everybody. He can see what is happening to everybody. So Sarkar Gawth Pak radiallahu anh is busy teaching in his madrasa, and the students are studying, and suddenly Sarkar Gawth Pak's beautiful, bright, fair face becomes red. Sarkar Gawth Pak's face becomes red. And Sarkar Gawth Pak radiallahu anh, when his Mubarak chehra becomes red, Gawth Pak radiallahu anh is wearing a huge, beautiful jubba. Gawth Pak used to wear very expensive clothes. Gawth Pak used to wear very expensive jubba. Why? He never wore it because he wanted to show who he is. Abdul Qadir didn't need to show who Abdul Qadir was. Allah showed the dunya who Abdul Qadir was. He showed them then. He showed in the zaman of Abdul Qadir. And he showed till Qiyamah who Abdul Qadir radiallahu anh is. This is that pious servant of Allah. So Sarkar Gawth Pak radiallahu ta'ala an used to wear the jubba. So in the evening he could give it sadaqah to a poor person. He would take it and sell it and live in his house for many, many, many days. So the barakat of that. But those who took it, some didn't sell it. They held it in their hands, and they knew more valuable that the wealth that comes is the jubba that touched the Jism Mubarak of the grandson of the beloved descendant of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It has been mentioned that Gawth Pak is teaching. He's teaching in his madrasa. He's teaching in his madrasa. And they see the chehra Mubarak of Gawth Pak becomes red. And then they see Gawth Pak in his jubba. He suddenly takes his hand and puts it inside. Takes his hand and puts it inside his jubba. They're watching. Students are watching. They're watching. Now, what I want to point out here is this knowledge that he has and how he recognizes, how he knows all of us. So, puts his hand inside his jubba, and after some time he remains silent, not talking, not teaching, in a different state, very deep state of absorption, spiritual absorption, meditation, pure muraqab. And Sarkar Gawth Pak radiallahu anh, after a little while, takes his hand out from his jubba sharif. When he takes his hand out from his jubba, the students are seeing that there's drops of water falling from his jubba. From his sleeves, there are droplets. Droplets of water are falling from his jubba Mubarak. So, when they saw his chehra, and they saw his jalal, and his state at that time, the students amongst each other, looking at each other, let's ask. The heart is saying, let's ask. The tongue got no power. Because the state of the jalal of Sarkar Gawth Pak radiallahu anh. So what some students, some intelligent ones, all of them were intelligent, they were in the court of Gawth Pak, but some spiritually more intelligent ones, what they did, they said, let's write the day down. Let's write the day, let's write the date, let's write the time, and keep it when this happened. When time goes, one day we'll ask Gawth Pak, when he's in the halat jamal, when he's in a more compassionate state, we will ask. Right now he's jalal. He's not doing anything to them, but when they're seeing that haibat of Sarkar Gawth Pak, they got no taqat to ask. So Sarkar Gawth Pak, they teach the lesson, days go by, after some time goes by, the people see that, Lord, this one ship comes to Baghdad Sharif, and lot of people getting off the ship and each one bringing one very special gift, 2 gifts, 10 gifts. And they're coming and they're putting a whole lot of gifts, offering them in as nazar in the court of Sarkar Gawth Pak, radiyallahu ta'ala. And Gawth Pak is not saying anything, he's just being very humble about everything that is happening. So, the same students now, they go and they catch some of those people. Said, come, tell us what happened. So much gifts. You just came to Baghdad. Looks like you haven't even come here before. Just came and you're bringing so much gifts and coming. What did you all hear about Abdul Qadir Jilani? Said, forget about what we heard. Let us tell you what we saw. Forget about what we heard. Let us tell you what we saw, what we experienced. They said that on a certain day. Students say, oh, we know that day. On a certain day, at a certain time, we were on a voyage at sea and our ship was caught in the storm. Our ship was caught in a storm and we have no way to survive that storm on that day. There was no way for us to survive, no way to come out. And amongst us was one person who was an Aqidatman of Gawth Pak. He heard about Gawth Pak. He knew about Gawth Pak. So when he saw that this ship is going to sink, everybody's going to die, sab gharq ho jaoge, sab mar jaoge. So at that time, he said, Ya Shaykh Abdul Qadir, aghithna. Oh Shaykh Abdul Qadir, shay'an lillah, for the sake of Allah, bless us with something, assist us. So that person says that we saw that when this was said, then Sarkar Gawth Pak radiyallahu anh, we saw when we took the name of Gawth Pak, we saw a hand appear from the unseen and he picked up the entire ship. A hand appeared from the unseen and he picked up the entire ship and took the ship and put it on the shore. He took the ship and he put it on the shore. They said we had yaqeen that that is the hand of Abdul Qadir Jilani radiyallahu ta'ala. That is the hand of Abdul Qadir Jilani. The students worked out the time, they worked out the date, they worked out the place and they said indeed, puri dunya, tamam log ko samajh mein aa jaye ki us waqt Gawth Pak apne haath jubba mein dal rahe the, apne haath jubba mein dal rahe the, wa atlani ala sirrin qadimin wa qalladani wa a'tani su'ali. Gawth Pak was showing all those around there, look, understand, you are seeing Abdul Qadir's hand going in his jubba. Abdul Qadir's sight is on his murid and his aqidat man. You are seeing inside the jubba, Abdul Qadir has put his hand there. Not only his spiritual hand, he has stretched his physical hand. That's why the drops of water were still falling from the jubba of Sarkar. That's why the drops of water were still falling from the Jubba Mubarak of Sarkar Gawth Pak radiyallahu ta'ala an. To farmate hai ke pata chala, the pious servants have said ke pata chala ke Abdul Qadir Baghdad mein hai, magar Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam ke waaste se unko ilm diya har murid ke hal ke bare mein. He is aware of the condition of the hal of every of his murids. He knows where they are, he knows what they are doing. It can be understood that Abdul Qadir is in Baghdad, Gawth Pak is in Baghdad, but he's seeing the state of his devotees. This is why in one of the couplets, I'm not following the sequence now, time is not going to permit. In one of those couplets, Sarkar Gawth Pak, what does he say? He says, Nazartu ila biladillahi jam'an. Gawth Pak says, Nazartu ila biladillahi jam'an ka khardalatin ala hukm ittisali. Sarkar Gawth Pak radiyallahu anhu is saying that when I looked towards the entire kingdom of Allah, nazartu, past. When I looked at the entire kingdom of Almighty Allah, one nazar, when Allah gave me that secret, then the power of that secret that I could see the entire kingdom of Allah. And how I can see it then, Abdul Qadir is seeing it now. He saw it, he knows it, he recognizes it. That when Allah gave me the secret, he says, Nazartu ila biladillahi jam'a ka khardalatin ala hukm ittisali. When I looked towards the entire kingdom of Allah Almighty, it was like a single mustard seed. The entire kingdom was like what? Khard. Okay, like a single mustard seed due to my grand connection to my Rabb Almighty. Allah gave me this taqat. So when Gawth Pak radiyallahu anh is speaking about the secret, what is he saying? He's saying that Allah blessed him with an eternal secret and Abdul Qadir thus knows well what is to happen. This is further so that it may be well understood that when Abdul Qadir radiyallahu anh, when Almighty Allah blessed Sarkar Gawth Pak with this power, that one eternal secret, how many more? Allah and His Rasul knows best. But one eternal secret was so much upon Sarkar-e Gawth Pak that he saw the entire universe as one seed. And he's still seeing it as one seed. When Abdul Qadir sees the entire universe as one mustard seed, what does his forefather and our master Muhammadur Rasulullah see the universe as? What does he see the universe as? You and I can't understand. और कोई गैब क्या तुमसे नेहा हो भला जब ना खुदा ही छुपा तुम पे करोड़ों दुरूद. Our Nabi is that Nabi who has given that ilm ghaib that even Rabb did not hide from him and conceal his jalwa and his tajalliyat from him. What else is there in the universe? Who is more ghaib than Almighty Allah? When Allah is not hidden from him, then what in the ghaib is hidden from Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And that's why we go back to the beginning of when I was discussing over the last 10 days. And I said to you that Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiallahu anh received whatever he received from the court of Allah through the sadaqah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why? Ala Hazrat said to us, "Kyun na Cassim ho? Why you want to be the distributor? Kyun na Cassim ho? Ke tu Ibn Abil Cassim hai. Kyun na Qadir ho ke Mukhtar hai Baba tera." Why this won't be so when your forefather sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been blessed with this and you have been given this from the court of Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam by the izn and by the hukum of Almighty Allah. Now let me tell you, when you look at these couplets of Qasida Burda, Qasida Gawthiyah, when you look at these couplets of Qasida Gawthiyah Sharif, you know, for a while and you analyze it. And I said this yesterday and day before yesterday, you continue seeing that Gawth Pak is mentioning his maqam. And he's not talking to you and I immediately. There he's talking to the Afthbs. He's talking in the majlis of the Afthbs. Present and hidden. So when you look at this, you will see at every share, as I told you, he is opening one secret. He's opening one veil upon the Afthbs about his maqam. And by him doing that, Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiallahu anh is passing a strong message to the awliya and to the rest of the world, especially those who follow the awliya Allah. Abdul Qadir Jilani, he's saying Abdul Qadir is telling you and revealing this nobility and excellence upon you so that you people may understand something. You all may understand something, and that the people until Qayamat may understand that when this is the caliber of Abdul Qadir, then what is the grandness of my master Muhammadur Rasulullah? Gawth Pak is telling you all this and is telling the Afthbs all this, making his shan zahir, but in reality from himself he's trying to explain to you, and this is Abdul Qadir. When Allah gave Abdul Qadir this, then what has Allah given Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam? Now understand, simple, and I'll try to end in the next 5 or 10 minutes, okay? Simple to understand. Look at this. Look at the power that Allah gave Abdul Qadir Jilani. Abdul Qadir brings the dead back to life. Okay? Agreed? Don't understand? Let's stand. Famous narration. Gawth Pak radiallahu anh is a little boy. Gawth Pak is a little boy. And an old lady, a very old lady, comes to the grandfather of Sarkar-e Gawth Pak, Hazrat Sayyiduna Abdullah Sum'i radiallahu anh. An old lady comes to the grandfather of Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiallahu anh. Now I'm not talking about this time when Gawth Pak is saying all this and telling us his maqam. I'm talking about when he was a little boy. Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiallahu anh's grandfather was a very famous, very well-known pious personality. When people wanted dua, they used to come to him. So this old lady came to Hazrat Abdullah Sumi and she said, Huzur, because she was very old, she had no children. Famous narration, I'm saying this so you understand. She came and she said, Huzur, are there any children in my nasib? She was gone very old. Hazrat Abdullah Sumi radiallahu anh put his head down and then he picked his head up. See, when the awliya look like this, they're not looking down. Their sight is going on Loha Mahfuz. Their vision is going to the protector tablet. So Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiallahu anh's grandfather put his head down like this. And then he looked up at her and he said, there's no awlad in your nasib. In your destiny there are no children written. The old lady hanged her head, very sad. She left the court of the grandfather of Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiallahu anhu, thinking in her heart, this was my last stop now. This is one of the most pious people that I know of. The whole city knows about him. He has told me that there's no children written for me. So she leaves that house of his and she starts walking. Sad, hanging her head, heavy heart. She's walking away, ab mere koi aulad nahi. As she's going, Sarkar-e Gawth Pak is with the other children. They are playing. Gawth Pak never used to play like how you and I play football. And this and that. Their play in inverted commas was even dhikr. Gawth Pak used to say to the children, all of you go and hide wherever you are. I will say La ilaha, you all must shout Illallah, then I'll come looking for you. So the children were amongst themselves, and this young Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani. So the old lady comes out and she passes, head down, very sad, broken heart. She passes and as she passes, Sarkar-e Gawth Pak is a little boy, na? Magar, look at the Nazare Vilayat at that time. She didn't say what she came for. He had no need to stop her, but he stops her. He says, oh elderly woman, why is your heart so broken? Dil dekh rahe. Why are you so sad? She said, I came to Sheikh Abdullah Sum'i. He said, oh, my grandfather. Yes. What happened? I went to ask him if I have any awlad in my nasib, he must see for me in the court of Allah, in the protected tablet. So he said to me that you don't have any children, so I'm so sad. You know, he's the biggest budurg in this zamana. Gawth Pak radiallahu anhu says, go back. She said, go back and do what? She said, you went and wrong. He says, you went and asked the wrong question. I said, why? He said, look, you are gone old already. You already know this. Go and tell him. I knew beforehand that I got no children in my nasib. I came to you so that you change my nasib. Subhanallah. Wali. Listen, now for explaining the detail, I have to go into the topics of qaza and qaza mubram haqiqa and qaza mu'allaq bamaz. And there's going to be no time for me to discuss that. Okay? One day when you come, sit Muhammad Sabir, he'll explain to you. Or I'll explain to you. The different types of taqdeer. And who has power over which at the command of Allah. Okay? So, she says that he said no children. She said, go back. Go and tell her, my grandfather, I know there are no children. You change the taqdeer. You make dua in the court of Allah. So it means he was one of those whose dua changed the taqdeer. That which is left suspended. Okay? So she goes back. Hazrat Abdullah Sum'i radiallahu anhu says, ladies, come back. He said, and now what can I do for you? She said, Huzur, I came to change my plea. I came to change what I asked for. He said, what do you want now? He says, Huzur, I know I got no children, I'm gone so old. Aap to dua kar de that mera nasib badal jaye. You make dua and change it there in Loh Mahfuz. Hazrat Sayyidina Abdullah Sumi radiallahu anhu picked up his Mubarak hand and he made dua. She couldn't hear what he was saying. Turned his hand over and looked down. He picked up his head. He said, Jao, tere nasib mein aulad hai. Go, there is aulad for you. As she leaves, Hazrat Abdullah Sumi comes out and he comes by the door and he says, where is Abdul Qadir? Subhanallah. Subhanallah. Where is Abdul Qadir? He said, nobody else could have done this except Abdul Qadir. Nobody else could have done this except Abdul Qadir. For Abdul Qadir knew what is the status of his grandfather. Why? وَعَطْلَنِي عَلَى سِرِّ قَدِيمٍ. He was given the special knowledge. Even by then where he knew, he's only telling the Afthab now. He was given this. He comes out, where's Abdul Qadir? In love. And he goes and looks for Sarkar-e Gawth Pak. The other children, Sarkar-e Gawth Pak sees him. And Sarkar says, Muhabbat, grandfather and the grandchild. So Sarkar-e Gawth Pak starts running. Sarkar-e Gawth Pak starts running. And some narrators say that when Sarkar-e Gawth Pak, some Sufyan Ikram say, Sarkar-e Gawth Pak started running. And as he's running, his grandfather, his Nana is also running behind him. Out of love, that catch Abdul Qadir. So, why did you do this, Abdul Qadir? He's running. As Gawth Pak is running, he's saying, Bhago, Bhago, Nana Jan aa rahe. Run quickly, my grandfather is coming. And as he ran through a Qabristan. And he said, Bhago, Nana Jan aa rahe. Run, my grandfather is coming. Qabr se murde uth ke jaagne lage Sarkar-e Gawth Pak. Subhanallah. The dead got up and started running with Sheikh Abdul Qadir. I said, Sarkar-e Gawth Pak brings the dead back to life. I'm not talking about the time when he was in that maqam. I'm talking when he was still a child. Okay? Abdul Qadir, I told you just now, he stretches his hand and brings the sinking ship back to the shore. Abdul Qadir goes at once to 70 Murid's house for iftar. And yet his son says that Hazrat didn't leave the house. And each one is fighting with each other, all the Murids. Okay, no, Hazrat came to my house for iftar. Hazrat came to my house for iftar. Hazrat came to my house for iftar. Son says, what are you people all talking about? Hazrat was in the house, in Jamia, I never went. Sarkar-e Gawth Pak came and he says, I was at all of their houses. And I was here also. Why? This is the taqat that Allah gave Sarkar-e Gawth Pak. I'm trying to make a point. That's why I'm counting these points for you. And Abdul Qadir turns thieves into abdals. He grabs a thief from a closet and says, go, you are an abdal. Says, no, I'm not an abdal. The one who comes to take said, no. If Abdul Qadir said, you are an abdal, go. This is the shan of Sarkar-e Gawth Pak. So Gawth Pak is announcing that all this which Abdul Qadir does, and all this power and authority which he has, is the blessing of the hands of the King of Medina. Is the blessing of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the beloved of Amina, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he's trying to tell to the Abdals and the Autad and the Nuqaba and the Nujaba and all those great Qutubs over there. He's telling them, whoever is Abdul Qadir's beloved, I'm telling you this so you know. Whoever is Abdul Qadir's beloved is the beloved of Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And whoever is the enemy of Abdul Qadir is the enemy of Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alaihi wasallam. And Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiallahu anh, this knowledge, this Ruhani ilm that Almighty Allah bestowed upon him, and the secret which he received from the court of Almighty Allah is a hidden secret. It's a secret from amongst the hidden secrets. But the great scholars and the great mashayikh like Ala Hadrat Adimul Barakat have said that Abdul Qadir is the beloved of Almighty Allah and his beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He himself is a hidden secret. Abdul Qadir is himself a hidden secret, and is also an apparent secret. That secret which you see and what you know, that is one discussion. That which you don't know is another discussion. That is why he says what Muhammad Sabir read in the Kalam today, कि बंदा कादिर का भी कादिर भी है अब्दुल कादिर, सिर्र बातिन भी है, जाहिर भी है अब्दुल कादिर. सिर्र बातिन भी है. This is what it means. सिर्र बातिन भी है, जाहिर भी है Abdul Qadir, the servant of the most powerful. By his grace, powerful is Abdul Qadir. The servant of the most powerful, by his grace, powerful is Abdul Qadir. The mystical secret he is, also an apparent secret is Abdul Qadir. Okay? So, sirre batin bhi hai, zahir bhi hai Abdul Qadir. Now, I must say something at this point. I'm looking at my watch. I think you people may be looking at your watches also. If I take 5-10 minutes more on Garvi Sharif night. Any objection? Chaliye. So, I'm thinking at this point, just saying the share of Al-Azam. Banda, Qadir, Qadir bhi hai, Abdul Qadir. Sirre batin bhi hai, Zahir bhi hai, Abdul Qadir. I'm just looking at this one share, then I'm looking at Al-Azam saying, Wah kya martaba, hai Gawth hai bala tera, ऊंचे ऊंचों के सरों से कदम आला तेरा, क्या दबे जिस पे हिमायत का हो पंजा तेरा, शेर को खतर मिलाता नहीं कुत्ता तेरा है, क्यों ना कासिम हो कि तू इब्ने अबिल कासिम है, क्यों ना कादिर हो कि मुख्तार है बाबा तेरा, तू है वो गौथ के हर गौथ है शहदा तेरा, तू है वो गैस के हर गैस है प्यासा तेरा. All this you look at and you think for a moment that indeed may we be sacrificed upon the feet of Imam Muhammad Raza. May we be sacrificed upon the sacred feet of Ala Hadrat Adimul Barakat radiyallahu an, wallahi lazim. We would not be making Garwi Sharif if it wasn't for Ala Hazrat today. You would have not been putting chadars on the mazar if it wasn't for Ala Hazrat today. You would have not been putting flowers on the graves of your mother and father if it wasn't for Ala Hazrat today. You wouldn't have taken a jug of water and poured out of respect on the grave of your mother today. If it wasn't for Ala Hazrat, you wouldn't have stood up after Jummah and said, Mustafa Jane Rahmat Pela ko salam. If it wasn't for Ala Hazrat, you wouldn't have said, Ya Nabi Salam Alayka. If it wasn't for Ala Hazrat, you would not have been able to make the urs and the niyaz of the awliya Allah. If it wasn't for Ala Hazrat, you wouldn't have said that I know that my Nabi is in Medina, but my Nabi is aware of my condition. If it wasn't for Ala Hazrat, this is the sadaqah of Ala Hazrat, Azimul Barakat, radiyallahu an. That Ala Hazrat who said and taught us that what are you talking about respecting Rasul Pak? Ask the Kaaba, Haur se sunto raza, Kaabe se aati hai sada, mere pyare se, mere aankhon se mere pyare ka roza dekho. He taught us this love, Ala Hazrat taught us this love. He connected our hearts to Gawth Pak. He brightened our hearts. How much love he had for Gawth Pak. One day in the mahfil of Ala Hazrat, the niyaz is being distributed, zarda, sweet rice is being distributed, and suddenly people see the Imam of the Ahl Sunnah, that personality who wrote more than 12 volumes, more than 30 volumes now, after it has been put together, more than 30,000 pages, Fatah Razviya Sharif. That personality who wrote Ad-Dawlatul Makkiyah bil Madatil Ghaibiyah. That personality whose Hadai ke Bakshish is indeed a garden of bliss and salvation. That Ala Hazrat, in his mahfil, they find him on his knees and on his palm. He's on the ground like a crawling child, and they look at him, his tongue is on the zameen. What are they seeing? That one small piece of niyaz fell. Gawth Pak's niyaz, Ala Hazrat Zuban ke nok se usse utha rahe hai. He's picking it up with the tip of his tongue. When this is the adab that Sarkar-e Gawth Pak, that Ala Hazrat had for Gawth Pak's niyaz, what adab he had for Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani. And when this is the adab that he had for Sarkar-e Gawth Pak, then what is his adab in the court of Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam? It is something to think about. This Garvi of Gawth Pak which we are celebrating, I'm telling you, it is the faizan of Ala Hazrat. Otherwise these Wahhabis would have stopped this completely long time ago. These Deobandis and all these other shaitans. But Ala Hazrat Azimul Barakat's karam that he saved us. And he told us, Karo Gawth Pak ki Garvi. Do Barvi Sharif. Do Chatti Sharif. That is why today we do 25 Sharif also. He made us do everybody's. Allah and His Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and Gawth Pak's karam on him. Today when you go to Bareilly Sharif for the Urs of Ala Hazrat, when I say Kadam Rakne ki Jagah Niyaf Sharif, when you go for the Urs in Bareilly Sharif, Ala Hazrat to Ala Hazrat, Tajushariah kya Urs? There is no place to put your foot. The janazah of Sarkar-e Tajushariah, when we were present, Abul Barakat was with me there. When the janazah of Tajushariah, I am telling you and I am giving gawahi that there was not enough place to stand with your 2 feet properly. Yani 2 pav, 1 pav ki jagah mein aadmi 2 pav rakhne ki koshish kar raha. People were standing on the trees. What is this? How did all this happen? How were all those hearts attracted? Because Sarkar-e Tajushariah radiyallahu anhu drowned himself and absorbed himself in the love of Sarkar-e Gawth Pak radiyallahu anhu. And in the love, through Sarkar-e Gawth Pak's muhabbat, in the love of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, Ala Hazrat radiyallahu anhu. Today we're celebrating Garvi Sharif, is the barakat of Ala Hazrat and the fairs of Ala Hazrat. He blessed us with this drink of the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and in doing so he protected our iman, and he gave us a powerful army of Huzur Mufti Azam Hind, Hujjatul Islam, Sadrul Sharia, Malikul Ulama, Shahb Shah Ahle Sunnat, Maulana Abdul Alim Siddiqui Mirti, and Qutb Madina Sheikh Ziauddin Madani. You count and you will see that he gave an army that even I leave this world, after that to next generation and generation after will be protected by this forge of Ishq Rasul that I have left behind. That is why today we are still celebrating this, and today this fuyuz and barakat of Ala Hazrat we have received through the hands of Huzur Tajushariah. Today we are getting it through Huzur Muhaddis Kabir Qibla. We are getting through Huzur Qaid Millat and all the Mashaykh Haq Ahl Sunnat, through the karam of Ala Hazrat Azimul Barakat radiyallahu anhu. And this is why we say, people are going to, somebody's going to come around and tell me. Somebody's going to tell me, this Afthab sometimes he's over extreme. I am the extremist, I know. Okay? He is being extreme. Now we want to be sacrificed at the feet of Imam Muhammad Raza. Baba, I never take from my pocket. I am telling you what the Ashik of Ala Hazrat said. What the Hassan of the court of Ala Hazrat, Hazrat Sufi Jamil Qaadiri said, Jamil Qaadiri Saujan se Qurban Murshid par. Who was his Murshid? Ala Hazrat. जमील कादरी सौ जान से कुर्बान मुर्शद पर, बनाया जिसने हम जैसों को बंदा गौसे आजम का. He is saying that because he made us and gave us this connection to Sarkar-e Gawse Pak radiyallahu ta'ala, be sacrificed as his Qadme Naz. This is the shan of those who are attached to Gawse Pak. What is the shan of Sarkar-e Gawse Pak radiyallahu, who said ki qadami hadihi ala raqabati kulli waliyillah? As I explained in the masjid, this foot of mine is on the shoulders of all the awliya Allah. Why? Because on the night of Mi'raj, the scholars have stated, and the great Sufiyan Ikram have written, that on the night of Mi'raj, when the beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was about to ascend onto the Burak, then at that time, as a step, to serve as a step, the ruh of Sarkar-e Gawse Pak was brought by the command of Allah. And it came, and Sarkar-e Do Alam sallallahu alaihi wasallam placed his qadam on Sarkar-e Gawse Pak radiyallahu anhu's Shani Mubarak, and Sarkar-e Do Alam sallallahu alaihi wasallam went onto the Burak, and Sarkar-e Gawse Pak radiyallahu ta'ala an said to Sarkar-e Gawse Pak, "Oh my son Abdul Qadir, the light of my eyes, my foot is on you today. Tomorrow your foot will be on all the awliya Allah." This is the barakat of the night of Mi'raj, which Sarkar-e Gawse Pak radiyallahu anhu received. That is why Shaykh Cassim al-Sulaimani says, it was inspired from the court of Almighty Allah, that like Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam amongst the Anbiya, Abdul Qadir is amongst the awliya. Like he is amongst the Anbiya, Abdul Qadir is amongst the awliya. Now think for a moment, this is that Abdul Qadir. I'm ending with this. As I said, over the last 10 nights, we were not able to discuss the whole Qasida Sharif, but I'm ending with this. Think for a moment. I'm going to read few shares of the Qasida for Barakat. So we end today. Think about who is the Abdul Qadir Jilani, who says, فَلَوْ أَلْقَيْتُ سِرِّي فِي بِحَارٍ لَسَارَ الْكُلُّ غَوْرًا فِي الزَّوَالِ. Who is this personality who is saying, if I cast my special secret onto the ocean, فَلَوْ أَلْقَيْتُ سِرِّي فِي بِحَارٍ لَسَارَ الْكُلُّ غَوْرًا فِي الزَّوَالِ, that if I had to cast my secret, that secret, onto the ocean or into the ocean, it will dry up completely and sink in shock. The ocean will sink. Think about it. Sarkar-e Gawse Pak, and I'll tell you something about this just now. Okay, let me tell you as I go, very fast. Sarkar-e Gawse Pak is saying, look at the maqam. فَلَوْ أَلْقَيْتُ سِرِّي فِي بِحَارٍ لَسَارَ الْكُلُّ غَوْرًا فِي الزَّوَالِ, that if I had to cast my special secret in the ocean, it will dry up completely and sink in shock. There will be nothing left there. How Sarkar-e Gawse Pak did this? How did he get this karamat in his hand? Remind yourself. Remind yourself. When the army of Pharaoh pursued Musa alayhi salam. When the army of Pharaoh pursued Musa alayhi salam, Allah Almighty opened the sea for them, opened the river for them. And two walls of water stood on either side. Like Muhaddis Kabir says, two huge walls and middle was a highway. For who? Musa alayhi salam and his people and his ummah. And they passed through. But when Pharaoh went in with his army, what happened? The entire walls of water crashed down. But those two walls, as the mu'jiza of Hazrat Musa, which Allah granted him, that the ocean became dry by that secret of Musa alayhi salam, which he saw on Kuwait. Which he saw on Kuwait. And Hazrat Gawse Pak radiyallahu anhu is saying, Wallahi Allah alkaytu sirri fi bihari. If I place my secret on the sea, it will dry up like that. And it will sink in shock. Do you know why? I'm going to tell you just now. Now he goes after that and says, Wallahu alkaytu sirri fi jibali. La dukkat waqtafat bayna rimali. He says, if I cast my special secret on the mountain, it will disintegrate. It will disintegrate and it will vanish inside the dust. You look in the dust, where is the mountain? It will disintegrate and it will vanish. And this again is the secret, that when Musa alayhi salam wanted to see Allah, and Allah said, Musa, you cannot see me. And the tajalli that hit the mount, turned the mount into dust. You couldn't see what was the mountain, what was the dust. Sarkar-e Gawse Pak is saying, Walau alkaytu sirri fi jibalin la dukkat waqtafat bayna rimali, that if I had to put my secret, that which Allah gave me, onto the mountain, it will turn the mountain to dust. I'm going to tell you something again. We'll tell you now after two more shares. And then he says, Walau alkaytu sirri fawqa narin la khamidat wantafat min sirri hali, that if I had to cast my special secret on a fire, due to my powerful state at that time, it will be extinguished and drenched. When Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam was thrown into the nar in Namrud, what happened to the fire? Ya nar kuni bardan wa salaman ala Ibrahim. Got cool and extinguished. It became a place of coolness for Hazrat Ibrahim ala Nabiyina alayhi salam. And here, Hazrat Gawth Pak is saying, if I had to throw my secret into the fire will be extinguished. Any fire, it will go off. And then, what does he say? وَلَوْ أَلْقَيْتُ سِرِّي فَوْقَ مَيْتٍ. If I had to cast that secret, that one, sirrin qadim, if I had to cast that secret upon a dead person, he will stand up immediately by the divine power of Almighty Allah. Didn't I tell you now, as a child, Gawth Pak murde ko zinda karte the? What about the one that was in the grave for ages, and Gawth Pak brought him up, and he accepted what Gawth Pak said and went back into his qabr? The point that I want to make here is, how is it that people are going to say, are you comparing him to Musa alayhi Islam's mu'jiza? Are you comparing him to the mu'jiza of Hazrat Isa alayhi Islam to bring the dead back to life? Gawth Pak brought the dead back to life. It's difference. One is a Nabi, one is a Wali. But you must understand, the karamat of a Wali is the mu'jiza of his Nabi. Okay? The karamat, follow. The karamat of a Wali is the mu'jiza of his Nabi. But you're going to say that Abdul Qadir is the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So how is the karam, the mu'jiza, how is he being the mu'jiza of Musa alayhi salam? How is he, that mu'jiza of Musa alayhi salam, the tajalli, one tajalli of it? Not that mu'jiza. One tajalli of it is coming in the form of a karamat from him. How Isa alayhi salam's tajalli is coming in the form of karamat to him. How the tajalli of Ibrahim alayhi salam is being emanating from from Hazrat Sayyidina Gawth Pak. He is the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. Then you have to understand that one share, and I'm ending with that share. Wa kullu wali lahu qadmu wa inni. Wa kullu wali lahu qadmu wa inni. Ala qadmin nabi badril kamali. Sarkar Gawth Pak says, all the awliya Allah, upon their path, their own spiritual paths, I am on the special path of the Nabi, who is the moon of all splendors. In other words, what he's telling you, he said a certain Nabi, a certain wali is the tajalli of the mu'jiza of a certain Nabi. Certain wali's karamat is the mu'jiza, the tajalli of the mu'jiza of a certain Nabi. Certain Nabi's karamat is the tajalli of the mu'jiza of a certain Nabi. Abdul Qadir's is the tajalli of the mu'jiza of Rasulullah, because all the Nabi's karamat put together is not enough from what is the karamat of Muhammad, mu'jiza of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is why Abdul Qadir, he shows the tajalli of that which Musa alayhi salam did. He shows the tajalli of that what Ibrahim alayhi salam did. He shows the tajalli of that what Hazrat Isa alayhi salam did. Why? Because he is on the feet of that Nabi. He is on the qadam of that Nabi, who is Imamul Anbiya. That is why Abdul Qadir is Imamul Awliya. This is the discussion of Qasida Gawthiyya Sharif, to prove that Sarkar Gawth Pak radiyallahu anhu is Imamul Awliya. No Nabi, only a Nabi can make mu'jiza. But the tajalli of that mu'jiza is shown by the awliya Allah. That is why they say that Sarkar Gawth Pak has reached this great maqam. Such fazilat. Unfortunately, I could not explain all the other ashar for you. For you is enough to understand, for me is enough to understand. That can you imagine, we are connected to that personality that is saying, if I put my secret on the ocean, it will dry up. Meaning it won't bathe. If I put it in the mountain, it's going to turn to dust. If I put it on the fire, it's going to get extinguished. One thing comes to mind. Subhanallah. He said, if I put my secret on the mountain, it's going to disintegrate. Khatam ho jayega. If I put it on the sea, it's going to dry. If I put it on the fire, it's going to go off. But he's saying, when I put it on a dead man, he will come back to life. सब बाकी खत्म हो जाएगा, मगर इंसान पे डाले तो जिंदा हो जाएगा. So what does it tell you? That the jaan of your iman is Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the lamp of that tajalli is Sarkar Gawth Pak radiyallahu anhu. If you want to bring your life, dead heart back to life, come in the feet of Sarkar Gawth Pak. Take the barakat of Gawth Pak radiyallahu ta'ala. That is why in the end we make this dua, taqabbalni wa la tardud su'ali, aghithni sayyidi unzur bihali. Allah keep us with iman, let us leave this world in iman. I've tried very hard to simplify this Rohani discussion over the 11 days, and to try and bring an ocean into a little jar, which is impossible. I've done my best to do it. May Allah accept whatever. If I've unintentionally made any errors in discussion, kabhi zuban se koi aisi lagzish, kai baat ho gayi, Allah Ta'ala maaf farmaye, Allah Ta'ala forgive us, and we make tawbah in the court of Allah and read the kalima la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And may Allah bless us with even one tajalli of the tajalli of the tajalli of the tajalli of the countless tajallis of Sarkar-e-Ghaus Pak, so that our hearts may truly be brightened and we may first see our own reality. Not because we want to see what's in everybody else's heart. Allah give us the tawfiq to see what's in our own heart. Because when you see what is in your heart, then you will be able to fix it. I'll be able to fix it. Allah give us tawfiq khair. All those that came every night for the programs, Allah reward you. Those brothers and sisters that have been listening online, a whole lot of them have been listening from all over the world, mashallah. And as I leave the mahfil and I go home, I get people dropping me messages, and I have to sit for a long time trying to read what they want. And there were even those that were saying, and I'm apologizing to them, since you are listening online, so I'm apologizing to you. They said to me, Ki Hazrat, can you not stop lecturing every night? Keep it 365 days. So I'm humbly saying that for my humble self, it's impossible because of work and many other reasons. I was showing Maulana Sabi the messages also, that many people have taken a lot of good out of this. Jazakallah. This is all the mercy of Allah. I have nothing. And I said to you, I never did this on the support of my knowledge. I did this on the support of the hand of my Murshid, Huzur Tajushariah, radiallahu an. Because what you understand by the books, you will not understand when they put their hand upon you. More than that, you will understand. So don't have fakhr on what you know. Yes, respect and honor it, but put your trust in Allah and His Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and the pious servants of Allah. So again, to those that have made numerous requests online for other lectures, if Allah gives me tawfiq khair, and when I'm not traveling, I'll try and do probably a program a month, one program a month, except Nuri Mahfil, a program more for ruhaniyat. Something that we talk about the spiritual aspects of and as well Aqidah. And I'm ending again tonight by what I did every night. Every night of the 11 nights I've done this, 10 nights, today is the last night. I did it in the masjid as well. Every night I took a few minutes of your time to tell you, protect your iman. Stay away from bad mazhabs. I'm repeating what I said in the masjid for those that are online. Do not, maybe not the exact words, but remember, do not allow your heart to be hacked. Do not allow your heart to be hacked. Put a strong firewall and antivirus system, that which has come to us from the city of Bareilly, the maslak of Ala Hadrat radiallahu anhu. Keep that so it's an early warning system. You know, if you have that maslak Ala Hadrat as your protector, it's such a beautiful early warning system that sometimes before even it happens, you know this is garbar. This one is a garbar. Automatically you will be keeping far from them. So protect your iman, stay firm amongst Ahl Sunnat, keep the company of Sunnis, don't look for crowds. Don't look for fanfare. See, the big problem today, even unfortunately, some who call themselves leaders and whatever, everybody wants to see how many followers I got on Facebook. How many followers I got, I don't know in Twitter if there are followers. Allah jane kya hai usme. I don't have any. I don't have Facebook and Twitter, and I'm not in social media. Hey? अच्छा क्या है अभी अच्छा X हो या Y Z हो जो भी हो. So how many followers on this, how many followers there, Instagram, how many people made my like, how many this and how many that. I say always, don't worry how many followers you got, see who you following. You become a true follower, you become true in the court of the Budurgan-e-Din, and then you see Abdul Qadir Jilani didn't look for followers. One of the Khulafa and one of the Murids of Gawth Pak was walking with him one day. He says, while Gawth Pak was walking, he looks to the side and says, always there's big crowds at Gawth Pak. Today I'm the only one. Radiallahu. Nobody. What happened? He just thought this. Such massive crowds came. He was far in the back. He started to think in his heart, the first time was better. When it was just me and Gawth Pak. He's gone far back. Can only see from far, Gawth Pak. Far back he's gone. He's thinking in his heart, hey, I wish it was like how it was. That was better. Why did I even think like this? He looks again and he sees he's next to Gawth Pak, there's nobody there. Gawth Pak radhiyallahu anh said, the hearts of the people are in the hand of Abdul Qadir. Main jisko chahe jab chahe bulao aur jisko chahe jab chahe dur kar do. I call them when I want and I disperse them when I want. So it's not about that. Gawth Pak didn't need that. I don't need that. Some people think, oh, everything is about wealth. The wealth of the dunya flowed under the feet of Gawth Pak. You understand? So don't let these vices be the thing that will divert you from haqq. Say the truth, make amal on truth, try your best and make dua that if there's a fear, then I said this last night, if there's a fear that I'm going to divert from the path of haqq, Allah take me with iman before that from the world. This is safer, that is safer. Okay? Allah keep us with iman, let us live the world with iman. Those who are ila Allah grandim shifa kamil said ajil. Those who have asked me to make dua, Karima Appa, our Rafi Bhai's sister's 40 days Fatiha is today. Allah exalt her in Jannatul Firdaus. Allah make her maghfirat. Special dua for our brother, our Zubair Bhai in Bombay. His wife is very, very ill. May Allah grant a shifa kamil to the Gyari Sharif of Awse Pak radiallahu anhu. Whoever else asked me to make dua, whether I remember or not, dua for everybody that asked me to make dua for them. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon all of us and all of them. And may Allah have mercy upon the Sunnis of Palestine. May Allah protect their honor, their lives, their wealth, their family, their children. And may Allah destroy the arms that are trying to destroy the Muslim Ummah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the tawfiq to live in the love of, in His love and the love of His Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and to die in His love and the love of His Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Wa ma'alin balagh. Assalamu alaikum.